This is K2 News at 11 on your side.
Get ready for triple digits. Portland Public Schools sent a message to the community in preparation for tomorrow's forecast. They tell us numerous strategies are in place to ensure that learning spaces are comfortable and healthy for students and staff. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us at 11 o'clock. I'm Deborah Knapp. Now, some of those strategies include opening windows, circulating air overnight, distributing fans, and when necessary, moving students into the coolest spots of the building. Despite the heat, PPS says they will continue with a normal school day. However, after school activities in some non-air-conditioned buildings have been canceled. As for athletics, they will follow Oregon School Activity Association when making that decision. Let's turn to live cameras now across the region as a storm track 2 weather alert is in place right now. Tomorrow's high temperature will be extremely dangerous, raise concerns about fire conditions across the state. Meteorologist Dave Selesky joins us now with a breakdown of the upcoming weather. Dave?
It's going to be hot, record-breaking heat out there, Deb. We'll show you what's going on right now, as a matter of fact. We have fair skies overhead at this hour, but still, temperatures very, very warm. 69 degrees, the current number now from our live camera. Touch mark up on the West Hills, again under clear skies. Here are the highs today. Didn't set any records here in the Portland area. 91 in Portland at the airport, 91 for Vancouver this afternoon in Salem. But look at the coast today. Astoria, 88, 99 for the Dalles, and 95 out in the Milton area. So some heat tips for you for tomorrow. Drink plenty of beverages, water, particularly, or something that's got an electrolyte in it. Avoid alcohol. Apply sunscreen at least SPF 30 or higher. That every couple of hours. Make sure you wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing. And, of course, if you be outside at all tomorrow, take plenty of breaks and make sure you do that in the shade. Now, again, didn't set any records today. The current record for today, 98 degrees, set back in 1955. But for tomorrow on Thursday and again on Friday, both those records are in jeopardy, especially on Friday. I think tomorrow we could easily 101, probably even a little bit hotter than that. Because of all this, we've got all kinds of watches and warnings. Heat advisories up now for the Oregon Coast Range, parts of Cascades, and also in the Bay. Red now for the Columbia River Gorge, Cascade foothills, and a fire weather advisory up for much of the metropolitan area, including the Willamette Valley, tonight through tomorrow evening at 11 p.m. I have all the forecasts for Deb, and they're all going to be very warm for this time of the year. See in about 10 minutes. Over to you.
Dave, thank you. If you are looking for a place to stay cool tomorrow, Multnomah County will open 2 cooling shelters. One at the Portland Covenant Church on Northeast MLK Boulevard, and the second at Cook Plaza in Gresham. They'll be open from noon to 9. Multnomah County Library will also have extended hours at the Central and Gresham locations until 8 at night. TriMet wants riders to be ready for delays. Max and West trains will have their speeds limited because of the weather. Anyone using transportation service to get to a cooling center will not be turned for the inability to pay. Head over to our website to check on real-time service information.
The safety of the community is my biggest concern.
This week's heat wave is strikingly similar to the conditions of 2020 when wildfires torched more than 100,000 acres. K2's on your side, who impacted, to see what could have been done differently. High temperatures and wind create a risk of wildfires that can grow and spread, something people in the Escada community tell us they're very familiar with. K2's Thunder Verma takes us into an Escada neighborhood with the changes they want to see going forward.
4 years later, and remnants of wildfires are still here. Trees cut down to reduce fuel.
In this Estacada community, tree trunks are still scorched. Surrounding forests have bald spots from trees that were burned down by fire.
Took out everything. Evacuated for 28 days. The majority of the people here ended up in Milwaukee.
David Banica lives in an RV park. He says fire got close to his trailer, but luckily it stayed intact. Others did not.
It was more of a shock than anything. So I grabbed what I could, valuables, and packed them up and left.
Given how similar the conditions in the coming heat wave are to what they were 4 years ago, we asked Banica what could have been done differently.
For example, roads would have changed a lot of things.
Theoretically, this could have given firefighters better access to wildfires, though he says happy with the way firefighters have handled things.
They do a good job. I mean, it's a tough job.
Banica's story is part of why we went to the Oregon Department of Forestry industry to see what they're doing to prevent what happened 4 years ago.
We'll be on patrol using our early detection resources like our smoke detection cameras and our multi-mission aircraft to try and find those lightning start fires as fast as possible so that we can get resources out there and try to contain them.
For Bannock, the events of 2020 had somewhat of a silver lining.
I think it brought us, closer together.
PG tells us they're prepared to de-energize power lines to protect communities. In Estacada, Tanvi Verma, KATU.
Here on KATU, continuing coverage this half hour. You can also track conditions on our website at KATU.com.
Walk this, jog this every single day, multiple times a day, so it's terrifying.
Tonight, police are investigating a brazen sex crime along a popular running trail after a naked man tried to grab a female jogger. Investigators say it happened this morning along the Springwater corridor near Southeast Johnson Creek Boulevard and Brookside Drive. Victor Park is live with reaction and concerns from people who frequent that trail. Victor?
That we found a lot of people using that trail this evening and tonight. Some of them are being a little bit extra cautious. Authorities remain on the hunt for a man accused of sex crime against a woman. Police say it happened along the Springwater Trail near the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood Wednesday morning. That news came as no surprise to Laura Holden.
We definitely have a lot of people out here. Most of them are completely silent, but there are situations where you're a little bit nervous.
A woman told officers she was jogging when a man on a bicycle passed her and then jumped into some bushes further up the trail. And as the woman approached where the suspect was allegedly hiding, she says he jumped out of the bushes naked and tried to grab her. The woman managed to get away and run for help. Josh Miner is one of many who frequent the trail.
I was shocked. This trail is pretty safe. I ride out here weekly, a couple times a week. I haven't heard anything like that.
The Springwater corridor has had its fair share of safety concerns. In 2019, a man was allegedly assaulted and robbed. In December, another man was found killed near the trail. The suspect in Wednesday's sex crime is described as a white man in his 30s, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, with a shaved head. Police say he was wearing all black clothing and riding a bicycle with 2 backpacks.
For me, it's safe, but it's a shocking reminder that how things can happen in a given day, and I wish that kind of thing didn't occur out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And several people told us they recommend people run or ride in groups of 2 or more. And by the way, Deb, the marathon is a little bit more than a month away, and so you can expect a lot more runners to train along that trail. So of course, people will be extra cautious. Here in Northeast Portland, Victor Park, KATU News.
Victor, thank you. New at 11, the search is on for this woman. Have you seen her? This is 32-year-old Melissa Jubain. She's 5'2", weighs 120 pounds. If you have any information, contact Beaverton Police. Tonight, getting people off the streets and into shelters is easier in Multnomah County. The Joint Office of Homeless Services just launched a pilot tool that shows how many beds a shelter has available in real time. KATU's Christina Giardinelli spoke to County about the new tool.
Off Portland streets and into shelter beds just became a little easier. The county and city's Joint Office of Homeless Services launched a tool last week that shows outreach workers what shelter beds are open in real time.
There's been a lot of progress, a lot of things people have wanted to see, dollars getting out the door, numbers of folks were housed and moved into shelter, new shelters opening, better partnership with the city. A couple of years enforcement action and part that the city and county both approved as part of a new contract on homelessness work. All of those things pointed to getting this specific real tool launched and off ground last month.
The tool just launched August 31st. It will show outreach workers the closest shelter and the one that best needs a person they're serving.
So it's going to tell you, this person, maybe they identify as queer, and they would comfortable in LGBTQ plus shelter. So maybe there's a spot open at the Queer Affinity Village.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler sent a written statement that reads in part, "This pilot underscores our ongoing commitment to taking decisive action and maintaining accountability to ensure we achieve tangible outcomes for our community."
It's Christina Giardinelli reporting. The county says it has already worked with its partners to train shelter providers and outreach workers on how to use the new tool. Tonight, learning 2 students and 2 teachers died in a shooting inside a Georgia high school. It happened this morning in Barrow County, outside of Atlanta. 9 other victims were taken to the hospital with injuries. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the suspect, 14-year-old Colt Gray, is a student at Appalachia High School. Gray immediately surrendered, confronted by the school resource officer. Investigators don't know yet whether the victims were specifically targeted. The sheriff's office says tragedy hits close to home.
I was born and raised here. I went to school in this school system. My kids go to the school system. I'm proud of this school system. My heart hurts for these kids. My heart hurts for our community.
Students were rushed from the school. Many formed a prayer circle out on the football field where they took shelter. The district said the schools will be closed the rest of the week as this investigation plays out. GBI says suspect will be charged with murder and handled as an adult. Not including today's shooting, so far this year there have been 29 mass killings in the U.S. According to the Associated Press data, at least 127 people have died in those incidents. Mass killing is defined by at least 4 victims dying within 24 hours, not including the killer. Last year, there were 42 mass killings associated with 217 deaths. That makes 2023 one of the deadliest years on record. Vice President Kamala Harris is calling for new gun safety measures in the wake of the school shooting.
It is a false choice to say you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away.
Assault weapons and red flag. Reaction to the Georgia high school shooting. Writing on his Truth Social, quote, "Our hearts are with the victims and loved ones of those affected by this tragic event. These cherished children were taken from us far too soon by a sick and deranged monster," end quote. Still to come on KATU News tonight, changes are headed for Southeast Portland following a city council vote today. How the latest round of funding is set to update the OMSI district. That's not the only changes headed for Portland. See which iconic building is losing namesake and what led to the decision.